Hello and welcome to a slightly different episode of Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine, and today I'm going to take you on a bit of a whirlwind tour of Strathearn Fleece and Fibre, which is a sheep farm that I happened to spot as we were driving along through Perthshire, and I was lucky enough to get a bit of time with Linda to talk about her fibre journey and what she does at the farm. So without further ado, I will let you experience this as you go. I did regret a little bit not recording straight away and carrying on because our conversation after was really interesting, but I hope you really enjoy the ride. Try and be professional, but I'm really not. So, hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine, and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. Once again, I'm in a slightly different place. This place is pretty exciting, and I have a lovely guest. I will let her do the introduction. So, would you like to tell everyone who you are?
Hello, my name's Linda, and I run Strathearn Fleece and Fibre. We stay at Culdees, Mewthal near Crieff in central Scotland, and my husband and I farm here. We have about 500 sheep that we farm, and we've got cattle as well. So yes, we sort of started this just
How long ago did you start it?
Started Strathearn Fleece and Fibre about 9 years ago. Although I was working with the fleeces a long time before that, and the sheep.
How long before? You have to say ages.
Yeah, no, well, almost forever really. Probably about to mid-90s.
Wow, so it really has been like close to your heart for decades.
Yes. And one of the jobs I was doing was rolling the fleeces. So when we clip the sheep, then once the fleece comes off, then lift it up onto the table and roll it, and fold it in and have it ready for the wool board, put it all in bags. So I was used to handling the fleeces and didn't really connect knitting with the fleeces for a long time.
This is kind of like you were just saying, until you know to ask a question or have a little push in the direction, you kind of don't know about these things.
Yeah, yes, I know. And even though, we're working with sheep, we're working with the wool, I didn't really, like I said, didn't make the connection for quite some time.
How did you end up in Perthshire?
I was born and bred in Perthshire. So I've lived here all my life.
So when can I move in?
Yeah.
I'm joking. Oh wow! I just had to go to a shop to buy my dinner, and when I live where I live, which these people might not understand and know, it's just like flats and building blocks. And I came out, and it was just hills. I was like, almost at tears, just coming out with my little salad box.
No, it's a lovely part of the world, and we really appreciate it. It's lovely.
What kind of breeds do you have here?
Sorry?
What kind of breeds do you have?
What kind of breeds? Yeah. Well, we have commercial, we have Texel and Texel Cross, we have Beltex, we have Wensleydale, we have Jacob, we have Blueface Leicester and Herdwick.
Wow, so quite a few different...
So, quite a few, yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Do you have a particular favourite to use? Or both to use as fibre, but also...
They're all different. And they will, when you put them in a field together, they will separate. The different breeds seem to know, they know their own kind, and they know that they're different from other ones. And actually, this sounds really funny, but they will do it by smell. And when you smell different fleeces, they do smell differently.
Really?
Yes.
That's That's quite interesting, actually, because I say that I've got a background in coffee, and I know people, it's more common knowledge that coffee smell and taste different, but if you do it head to head, the difference is so vast, even if it's, 2 farms across. I want to go and smell your sheep. So when did you come to, or how did you realise that your fleece could then be turned into wool? Or not into wool, you probably knew it was already wool, but spun and used as a crafting product.
Yes, well, once the kids grew up, I actually got back into knitting, and it was a knitting magazine, I think one of the Knit Nows or something like that, and they had a course, a day course, they were advertising a day course down in Norwich.
Oh, wow.
And it just so happened it was on when we were on holiday. So I went there and learned how to spin. Well, not completely learned how to spin, but really got the bug for it.
Wow.
And took it from there. And hence we've ended up with this. But yeah, it's great fun.
It's a gorgeous face, and the wheels are just here.
So yeah, we've got 3 different wheels here. We're actually agents for Ashford, and we've got the Traveller, which is a double treadle one, which is quite easy to take with you. And then we've got the traditional one, which is more the one that people think of, and it's single treadle. And then we've got this big one, the big jumbo one, which is for super chunky, really artsy yarns, where you can add in, beads, ribbons, all sorts of weird and wonderful things.
It's really cool.
So yeah, and I've actually got 4. I've got an electric spinner as well, so you don't actually treadle; it just sits on the.
I keep looking at them when we're at shows, and I'm like, that is really cool. But I feel like you'd want to learn traditional first.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
because you actually still, although you're not treadling, you still do have to know how to spin really.
And I guess it does have a speed control.
It does have a speed, yes.
Straight away, just... This is amazing. I think you covered most of everything that the who, what, when, how. You've spoken about how. How often do you shear them? Twice a year?
Once a year. Once a year. So
no, twice.
In June, we have the hogs, and it's usually the hog fleeces that we use because that's the first clip. So the lambs here are born in April, the end of March, April. So their first clip is about 1.25 years. So it's like baby wool. It's the finest fleece, and it's the longest one because it's been growing for 1.25 years. And then after that, the ewes are clipped usually in July, so they're a little bit later. But yes,
very cool. I don't think I would like to think about these things, but actually getting to see it and hear about it it's even better.
Yes.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you would like to share from your beautiful collection? You have a lot of cool things here, from t-shirts to cups, which is useful for everyone, not just fibre artists.
Well, the logo, that's Matilda, and that was one of our first Wensleydales. And my daughter, so she was standing waiting to be scanned, because we scan the sheep just at the beginning of the year, and then you know how many lambs they're going to have. And then work accordingly. So she wasn't actually in lamb. We sort of thought that she never had a lamb. But that was her in all her glory. And my daughter just sort of made the logo from the picture we had of her.
She's beautiful.
So she is. She's gorgeous.
She's got almost speckled yarn.
So one of the things I really enjoy doing is dyeing. As you can see, I love colour, and I didn't really realise how much I loved colour until I started dyeing myself. And there's so much that you can do with it. When you spin your own, it sort of the colours change as you're doing it, and you can dye in the fleece stage, or you can dye in the roving stage, which is part of the way through the process, or you can dye once it's spun as well. So, you know, you can have so many combinations and things like that.
Are you constantly trying and playing as opposed to, or do you have a favourite way of doing it?
No. As you can see, things are just, as and when, and I don't do sort of repeat dye baths and things like that. I don't measure out. I do it all by eye, which commercially is probably not the best, but that's just the way I really enjoy doing it. And playing. You said playing, and that is, it's a great word. It's,
It is, isn't it? And I think you said you do, I noticed you do a bit of natural as well as...
Yes.
Very, very different process again, isn't it? You get to grow what you use, which is really cool. But I quite like it too. I do a bit of dyeing myself, but 9 times out of 10 I won't write down what I've done, which can be a real... like my partner wanted a hat out of this yarn, and it was lucky that the yarn that I had left over from this was just enough. I used a few rows of another yarn halfway where the brim folds, and I managed to just squeeze the hat out of it. I decreased quicker than I needed to and everything, but I could never repeat it again. But that makes it more special.
It does, yes.
And you do appreciate it more when you see it. And I'm taking it back. There's so many cool colours. I might even be inspired to pick up my drop spindle and try and gain some more hand-eye coordination. I'm sure there's a technique that I just haven't. I really haven't got to grips with it yet, but I've not tried.
It's just doing it often, just short bursts, little and often.
It's like everyone always hates to hear it takes time and practice, but it is, and I think.
Yes. And learning to relax as well, that's the thing. Before I start anyone on the spinning wheel, we have a chat, and they start spinning without having any wool on it, so that they get the feel for it.
That's a good idea.
Just sort of treadling away and relaxing, and then you're more in the zone.
Yeah, I crocheted quite a bit just before I started knitting, and it was causing me pain. And I realised I was holding it at a funny angle because I was holding my shoulder up. And as a yoga teacher, I was like, this is dangerous after a while. And I was clenching my teeth. And learning to undo that was really a long process. Whereas knitting straight away, for some reason, my shoulders are down and my elbows clipped into my sides and just going. But if you pick up a habit like that at the beginning, it must be so hard to... It is hard. I've seen it in crochet.
Yes.
But maybe I'm doing something like that when I'm spinning. I'm really sort of doing it all the way up here or something when I'm trying to know what I'm like. See me. I think I've hassled you for quite a lot of information. Is there anything else you'd like to share? While I have you here.
We use different breeds of sheep for different things because they all have their own qualities. So we will use the Texel for outer garments. So we use it more in Aran weight and chunky and super chunky, whereas the blue-faced Leicester, which is really soft, we have in lace weight and 4-ply more, and DK up to then. So. Then blending.
Yeah, I can see
ones
quite
as
some
well.
Beautiful colours here, and I'll insert so that you might be able to see. But the undyed ones are just gorgeous colours. But then seeing it next to all the fun colours is like exciting too. I'm like, I want to play. But it is amazing seeing them together and how different each one is. You can see.
Yes,
I think it's just.
Yeah, so you've got the really dark, and it's just using the natural fibres from the sheep. So you've got there's warbles, which is a really dark fleece. So you get the blacks, and then if you're carding it, you get all the greys. If you card the black and the white, you can go through the different shades. So you can go from black through, say, 100% of those warbles, and then 80-20, and then 60-40, and go through. So you could actually do your jumper.
A nice faded
Just sort
jumper.
of, yes, just sort of graded like that. And there's just so much you can do with wool. Whether you're knitting with it, whether you're spinning with it, you can felt, needle felt, wet felt. Yeah, just do amazing things. We have the little curls as well. The blue-faced Leicester, really sort of tight curls, and so I dye the curls. And I'm not artistic, so I can get it to the stage where people will go and do amazing things with it.
I can imagine, like, instead of fringing on like jumpers, instead of fringing, having these curls sort of sewn in somehow. That would be my crazy idea.
Yes, yeah. Well, people use it for doll's hair and all sorts of things.
It's a good idea too, actually. No plastic.
Yeah.
In your doll's hair. Hand knitted or crocheted or felted dolls, I guess. Oh, this is so good. It's highly distracting being in here. I'm not gonna lie. You'll probably notice that I'm just eyes are all over the place. Like this gorgeous scarf.
Like that, yes, that was actually done with all the end bits. When I'm balling the wool, of course you've got the ties, so I keep all the ties and then I tie them together. But I'll only do one of something and then go off and do something else. Do
you think is it the learning for you that's quite fun?
Yes, it's always a new challenge, and you're thinking about doing new and different things. And I think it's probably chaotic, like my life slightly. I do try and keep things regular, but no, it doesn't always work.
I very much relate. I play a game called Dungeons and Dragons, and my character is quite similar to me, and you have alignment, so you can be chaotic, neutral. And chaotic is definitely who I am. And even me and my partner recently did a personality test, and the reason that we're probably in the position we are, where we haven't quite moved ever, even though we've been wanting to, is because we're both moderators. But we laughed quite heavily because he's an assertive moderator, so he has a little bit of a, we'll do this, and I'm basically just chaotic. That's what the word basically meant. I was like, yeah, yeah, and I think that's why I found knitting so exciting to me, and Fibre, because there is always something to learn.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And I know that goes for everything, cooking, even cleaning. You learn things, but you pick up a project and something, and you've got something to show at the end of it. Whereas cleaning, you still have to do it again tomorrow. Cooking, you still have to do it again tomorrow. But you have a gorgeous garment or a gift that not only have you learnt something on, you've got something to pop on your head, and And
it's unique as well. Yes, and as you're knitting or as you're making something, you're thinking about the person you're making it for as well.
I received a blanket from my aunt. Just had a significant birthday recently, and this blanket is bigger than double bed size. It's huge, and I couldn't comprehend that she'd spent so much time. I was like, Did you really? And she's like, yeah, of course I did. And I'm like,
yes.
You were just thinking about it, I'm like, it's so lovely, and it is nice that it's a skill that you can apply so certainly on someone, like, a friend that loves purple, and that might be me, but a purple or mohair, that's definitely be. And you would be able to knit them something exactly that represents them.
Yeah, yes.
It fits perfectly or terribly, depending if you've gauge swatched, etc. Like, it is really a very cool art for that purpose, isn't it? And what's this one? Sorry.
That's wet felted. Yes, that was my daughter that did that.
It's colours.
So yeah, no, she really enjoys doing the felting, wet felting. And I think it was dyed it was dyed afterwards. She felted it first and then dyed it. And again, you can do it different ways. Yeah, I mean, you know, meeting you today has just been great, and that's what we're talking about, making connections.
It is.
And people's stories go along with it. That's the thing.
There's always a story.
Yes.
and it isn't just, oh, I picked up a book. Usually, like, it's, oh, I accidentally came across a magazine or a book and instantly was drawn to X, Y, or Z. Or I do know a lot of people now that are similar to me, and I haven't really shared my story too much, and that will come because I think it's important. You know, come from a chronic illness where they can't do much else, or you know, a mental health problem, and they found that it's really meditative, and it's quite cool, and it's quite cool to know that a lot of the things that you have here will be part of someone's story potentially. Like,
yes.
To me, that's really cool to see when I've packaged yarn off, whether it was at a previous job or now. It's like that's going to be someone's, you know, part of someone's legacy almost, because these wool lasts as long as you know.
That's right. Well, actually, we had visitors in from America a couple of years ago, and they took a couple of skeins of yarn back with them for a friend, and it was some of our, I think it was our Swarbles, this really dark one, and the alpaca and texel, which is a sort of brownish colour. And from that, the person who received it, she asked if she could have a photograph of some of her sheep. So I sent over, and she had one of quite a few of them. So she asked for some of the, well, I say white, but it's sort of a creamy coloured yarn. And it's amazing from this photograph, because she kept sending me, as she was doing it, sending me back photographs of her work. And it was like a tapestry that she did of our sheep here using our yarn. And, you know, she wrote in the back of it. So that is, that's forevermore. And it's in, you know, it's with her family in America.
It's amazing. My Fibre dream has got to a point where it's to shear a sheep, spin the wool, knit the jumper, wear it, but then go back to the same sheep. That's my ultimate dream, is to do that full cycle and then be able to, you know, really, really experience the difference from the start of it through to the end.
Through to it, yes.
And then, you know, see it growing its little face back. Give it a little...
Yeah, no, it is.
But yeah, I think I should probably stop talking, because I would be able to keep
yes. I would talk forevermore about sheep and wool as well, because it is. But yes.
So I'm gonna say thank you so much for having me here, and I'm gonna sneak off and give you a little view of this amazing space and pick up some things to take with me to be part of my legacy. So thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. No. Bye.
I'll put the links down below for information, because it is very important to share that. Because there is some gorgeous pictures as well, which in particular, after seeing the amazingly beautiful logo, drew me in. I was like, I really need to come and visit you. So I'll quickly give you a peek into Linda's gorgeous Fibre hut, which is open to visitors. Like, it was just me when I was there, which was quite exciting, and it would likely be that if you choose to visit her at any point in the future. Sadly, we didn't really get a good look at the sheep, only because it was really spare at the moment, and I'm so grateful that Linda was able to have me. Hopefully I can revisit Linda and talk to you a little bit more in detail about what you can see here, what she offers and things like that, but I do have quite a bit going on at the moment. If you're close, you might, or you will know what's going on. If you're not, you know, in my little circle, so to speak, you won't know, but hopefully by this time next week or the week after, you will be in the know too. We've got so much exciting things coming up and lots of change in our lives. and it's been lovely having you along for the journey. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones. Don't forget to love each other, which is not my phrase, but it's slowly becoming something I say more often than not. Thank you so much, and take care of yourselves.